Hi, Eugene Segovia here with EZStudRack.com. I want to demonstrate today what causes clutter. Now, you hear me say in all my videos, clutter is always caused by deep, wide shelves. That's why I invented the EZStudRack. To narrow those shelves down, you can utilize the space in your walls or on your walls. So what we'll do today here, first and foremost, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you get videos that come up, and I'll do them periodically, once a month, once every week, sometimes twice a week. Anyway, let's get started here. What I'm just going to do is just show you some examples. So we'll start by, if you're patient here a little bit, when I'm recording on my computer, it kind of slows everything down. Okay, so what we have here is a typical shelf that you would buy. Again, these are deep, they're wide, they're fixed. Now, yeah, you can adjust your shelves up and down, but you know who adjusts those? They just space them out and leave them like that. So what causes clutter? What causes clutter is you begin your organized and you use an item and you always tend to put it back in different spots. Why? Because there is no particular spot. Let's go to the next example. Again, deep, wide shelves. You use this guy right here, for example, and you're going to put it back in a different spot, maybe down here. Now, also, you can see up here you've got these angle brackets. We'll go more into that a little bit later with a better example. Okay, what you can do now with EZStudRack is you can come in and attach EZStudRacks to the studs. If you have a garage that has exposed studs, easy 5-minute install. You can go to see all my videos to see exactly how this is done. It's a 5-minute install per package. Now, what you can see here is you're not just limited to for example, 1x4 shelf like this one here. 1x4 meaning it is the depth of a 2x4, 3.5 inches deep. Not to get into all those little details, basically you could put a small shelf like here. When you use an item, you're always going to put it back in the same spot. Why? Because that's the only spot that's available. If you use an item and you finish it, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go replace that item and put it back in the same spot. You got small shelves, you got deeper shelves. Here's a good example right here with this Super Zap It. He buys them by the case, or she. He or she buys them by the case and then puts it back on a deep shelf. So when that box is empty, he goes and buys another shelf or another box. Okay, let's go to the next example. Here is the same person that did the opposite side of his garage. Same thing, 1 row deep storage. When you use an item, for example, paint, well, one, you can see all your paint here. You see some of the colors here. I would probably put a dot of what each paint color is. That way you can easily see it from afar. Use it, you always put it back. 5-minute install between studs. Let's go to the next section. Let's talk about pantries. What causes clutter in pantries? Your pantry is probably the same way, unless you have EZStudRacks, of course. Deep, wide shelves and fixed shelves cause clutter. What I do in pantries, if you go to my website, and well, one, you can see the other YouTube pantry examples. This particular pantry, we actually did an entire remodel sequence where we took the shelves down, showed you exactly how to cut the baseboards out, build the shelves and all that. And what you see here is, well, again, you got deep, wide shelves. When you use something, you're never going to put it back in the same spot. Put in, if you look at my website under rectangular pantries, you can download PDF files of drawings of how to build this thing, how you cut the wood, what kind of supplies you need. I got another section on doing a scaled drawing where you go in and you measure it, and it step by step how to do a drawing of what exactly you need to buy and all that. I'll provide links to all these separate sections in the description below, so you just go in there and click on the video. So again, this particular pantry, we shorten the shelves so they're not as deep. and we added shelves to the left and the right of this pantry. Let's back up a little bit. No shelves on the right. You can't see the left, but there's no shelves on the left either. The shelves are really deep. Look how deep they are. Take up the entire space here. Shorten the shelves. I usually recommend for a pantry a 1 by 10. 1 by 10 means it's 3/4 inches thick by 9 1/4 deep. That's great for your cereal boxes. That's the only big item that I can think of that goes in a pantry. Side shelves are going to depend on your pantry, the size. You can go, well, I'll give you an example. Here's another pantry. Deep, wide shelves. It's just items just stacked everywhere. Rectangular pantry. You're able to put 1 by 6s on the side just because the depths on the left and right were deeper. This way and this way. Same concept. You can tell that these shelves are not as wide as the one before. But basically it's all the same. You go in, you just got deeper shelves on the left and right. Here's a good example where you have cans. I mean, you never only buy one can of whatever. For example, this is mushroom soup or something. They stack it too deep and they too high. So whenever you use one, you can replace it, but you got those different rows of the same stuff. Another rectangular pantry. This one, again, fixed shelves, you get them cluttered up because you don't ever have the same spot you put things back. Same thing. These here are 1 by 6s. These are 1 by 10s in the back. You notice here, actually this is probably a 1 by 8 on the sides. That's what it looks like based on the EZStudRacks are 3.5 inches wide, and they're attached to probably a 1 by 8 here. And we attached it to the middle. That way your shelf can be balanced. You don't need to double up on your. A lot of people are asking me, hey, can you make these EZStudRacks fit a 2 by 6 or a 2 by 10? Make them deeper. That way I can put a deeper shelf. And I just say, just put them in the middle. You'll be fine. Here is a storage shed or a garage. People typically would buy these little angle brackets. They're not that expensive, $2 or $3. You put them on, you attach your shelf. Again, same issue. Deep, wide, fixed shelves causes clutter. When you use something, you always tend, or how many of you get frustrated whenever you go in and you're looking for something? You're constantly, you feel that anxiety building up because you know you have an item, but you have to keep digging for it. Talk about a waste of time. Well, what the EZStudRack system, you can take advantage of the area. This particular storage unit had exposed studs. Take advantage of this area between the studs. 1 row deep storage gets you organized and helps you stay organized. So use an item. Again, this is repetitive. You use an item, you're always going to put it back in the same spot because there's only one spot to put it in. You can use 1 by 4s, as you see here. 1 by, looks like this is a 1 by 10. This blower here has a really deep shelf. Gas can has a deep shelf. So you're not just limited to small items that you can put on the shelf. All right, let's go to the next section. This is a craft room. So as you can see in this craft room, let's see if I can zoom in here. This person, and we did a whole craft room remodel, a craft room closet remodel on this particular craft room. We did it from the very beginning to the very end. We fast forward to the video where we take everything out and put up the shelves and all that. These took several framed wall kits. If you go to my website, you can buy a framed wall kit, and I'll get a little more into that here in the garage section. What I want to point out is a lot of times we buy items to organize our stuff. Here's a great example, whether this is in a craft room, toy storage, or in a garage, or in a storage unit. You got, when I say storage unit, I mean sheds. You got these individual compartments you can slide out, and this person had them labeled right here, whatever this is, stamped for Christmas, stamped for Halloween. The downside is, even though it's organized and you know that stamp's in there, you slide it out, constantly digging to find the right item. Talk about a waste of time. Well, what we did, well, let me see if I can. There we go. Go to the next photo. We took everything to the wall. It goes all the way up to the ceiling, and I usually don't go all the way down to the ground. I'd say at least 8 inches, 8 to 12 inches off the ground. That way you can sweep and clean up around there. You don't have any buildup in the underneath of dust or any of that. So again, zooming in, the stamps. It's kind of a blurry picture, but you'll get the point. These stamps, same thing. Instead of pulling them out of the drawer and looking for it, you can easily see them right here. One row deep storage. You pick an item, you're always going to put it back in the same spot. You can organize them by whatever it is. These little cutters here, same way. You pull it out. Look at the video. Go in there. I'll have the link down at the description part. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. That way, whenever I post a new video, you'll get a notice on it. Let's see, going back to this wall storage. Frame wall kits. Okay, let's get back out. Oh, here's a garage that the sheetrock was notched out. And I actually did a video on this. It's an old video. It's probably time that I redo this video with better lighting. I've got better cameras nowadays and everything. But I actually took a roto zip tool and just followed the 2x4. And then basically the exterior walls of a lot of the homes that are sheetrocked, exterior wall meaning the wall that faces the outside, doesn't have any insulation. Some of the older homes will probably have insulation just because they put them in there. Some don't. I've experienced both. But basically, the exterior wall, because of the garage doors constantly opening and closing, you don't need any insulation. Now, the one that attaches to your house, yes, by code, that has to have insulation. Long story short, this particular wall didn't have insulation. We notched it out and created recessed storage in the wall. Don't have to. We gain all this space. If you zoom in, you see these 2x4s are actually, I'm sorry, 2x6, 1x4s are in the actual wall. Some of these boards are a little bit longer. Can't see any of these longer boards. Let's go to the next section. This is a framed wall kit. And I know this picture is a little blurry, but basically you buy a framed wall kit for, I don't know what the price is now, right under $90. You get all the screws, everything you need, but the wood to make this frame wall kit. The instructions. Also, if you look at the video on how to build this thing step by step, pay attention to what I do with each shelf, because you cut the shelves first. That way they're all the same size. When I say cut the shelves, I cut at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 shelves. So when I put all this thing together, I use the actual shelves to make sure the spacing's all the same. That way, if you want to take this board out right here and use it over here, you could do that. You could use it over here. Again, one row deep storage. You use an item, you put it back. When you need to find an item, you can easily see everything. Here's another example. This person took several frame wall kits and built this garage. I have another video on this. This is my neighbor Bob. I said, let's do a before and after video on this thing and show the potential. Not to mention, you've got clutter everywhere. You got to get organized. So again, one thing that I didn't like is that he put several paint cans here, different colors. They're all different colors. I go, why do you do that? You're always going to be digging. He goes, you don't understand, Eugene. I paint my decoys. I guess he's got decoys for ducks and all that. He goes, when I got to repaint them, I use all these cans. So I would just take all the cans. That makes sense. I understand. In that case, I agree with it. Keep at it. Again, everything stuff on top that you don't use a lot and you need a ladder to get to, that's what the upper shelves are reserved. Middle shelves and lower shelves are items that you're constantly going to be getting, you're going to be using, and easy to access. All right, let's go. Here's another garage. And you can see here, I'm sure at one point this was organized. I see a shelf here. And it looks like another shelf down here where the person was trying to build shelves using those angle brackets. This little guy over here looks like it's some kind of press, but it looks like it's storage for clamps. Here's a better view. Got the shelf right here with the angle bracket, and then you got all these clamps being stored on this press looking thing. So with the EZStudRack Storage System, we came in, we created storage for the clamps. Since these shelves are easily adjustable, you could move these shelves up or down wherever you need to. Depends on the clamp that you put on. If you need more space, just move your shelf. Let's zoom out a little bit. This is the area over here where the clamps were. The heavier items, you notice like this item here, this saw, miter saw. I think this is a jigsaw or something. Reciprocating saw, whatever it is. And this router, this is pretty interesting what this person did. Check it out. So they doubled up on EZStudRacks just because it's heavy items. And they'll take this guy out and put it on this table. When they're done using it, they put it back, they take this guy out, and so forth. Here's an example. Boom. Put it back. Boom. Use the router. When you're done with it, put it back. I thought it was a brilliant idea. Here's the clamps, a better view of the clamps. Again, one row deep storage. Let's go back at this angle. One row deep storage. Screws. This little box of something's one row, one row. These screws in looks like screws in a coffee cans. One row, one row. Paint, one row. Everything is one row. You can, when you see it, you use it, and you put it back. Here's a box. It looks like a bunch of ropes in it. So again, you're going to take it down. You're going to use the rope. You're going to put it back, and you're constantly going to be putting your ropes back in that same spot. Oh, look here on the side. Nails were attached to the 2x4s to hang glasses, safety glasses, this little tool that they use to measure diameters of screws and stuff, a brush. Toy storage. Here, I mean, how many of your toy storage, those who have kids know that you're always going to have toys and they're always going to be changing year after year. These shelves are purchased, and these aren't cheap. And you can see, again, everything is cluttered up. There's no home for anything. So when a child uses something, they're never going to put it back in the same spot. They're just going to throw it on there. Another example, same house, same shelf, but in a for different toys. So you can see there. Clutter. Check that out. Again, frame wall kits. They attached it to the wall, and they one row deep storage. So when somebody uses this toy, there's only one spot it's going to go back in. Now what I recommend too, definitely, especially when it comes to kids will tend to put things back. It takes 21 times for something to become a habit, but day to day you got to remind them. Put it back, put it back. A good idea, have a picture like this and just tape it to a wall. That way when they don't know where a toy goes, they'll look at the picture and they'll put it back in the same spot. As your toys change, garage sales get rid of toys, guess what? Your shelving can change easily for all your new toys. Looks like that's it. That's all I got for today, but it's a great example of what causes clutter, why you need EZStudRacks. Again, don't forget to subscribe. That way anytime I have new videos that come out, you'll get a notification. Also, check out my website. If you need to order a product, go to www.EZStudRack.com.